time Texas and Texas A&M meet, it can get a little spicy and it can be a huge rivalry.
It is one of the most heated rivalries in all of college sports.
Now the time has come.
This series is going to be fun.
The energy, the fans. Aggies don't like to go to Austin because you're in enemy territory.
You got to do it today.
It's the highest level of competition.
You got to do what it takes.
Everybody is out to win.
To feed the hunger inside.
Who's going to be the best team in Texas?
You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Welcome to the Lone Star Showdown in Austin, Texas, a top 15 matchup between the A&M Aggies and the #1 Texas Longhorns in a series that got off to a hot start on Friday night. 5 home runs, 17 combined runs, including a pair of homers by Vivi Martinez, who also scored the game-winning run in walk-off fashion in the bottom of the 7th, and the Longhorns extended their win streak to 28 games. Hi again, everybody. Matt Schumacher alongside the former A&M Aggie, Amanda Scarborough. And Amanda, while we've gotten this series plenty of times in recent years, in the postseason, this is the first time since 2012 they are playing in the regular season. You played in this series. How big of a deal is this in the Lone Star State?
It's a huge deal. And this, I mean, rivalry matchups are just epic. It gets your heart feeling different. Fans love it. This is exactly what fans want to see. And not just in the state of Texas, nationally, this is one of the biggest series of the weekend. And these games are always so close.
So close, just like last night, a one-run game. Texas has been really good this year in one-run games. Part of it is they bring back 8 starters from the program's first Women's College World Series title a year ago.
Yeah, they're really lucky because they have a veteran team with lots of juniors and seniors who have played together. There are a lot of big games, including winning that national championship together, where last season they are bringing from that roster 70% of their runs, 63% of their home runs, and then in the circle led by Tegan Cavan, who won't get the start today, but we did see her in last night's game a couple of times. They bring back 80% of their wins. So much experience defensively and in the box.
On the flip side, A&M, who reached #1 in the country last year going into the NCAA tournament, had a lot of turnover, Amanda. A bit of a rocky start to their year, but they're battle-tested and they're trending in the right direction.
Yeah, very different from Texas because you have a lot of fresh faces with youth and freshmen and transfers. Slow start for A&M with their tough schedule, and they've played in a lot of close games. 2-7 so far this season, and runs decided by 2 runs or fewer.
Maya Perez on your screen, batting in the 2-hole for just the second time this year, right behind Kennedy Powell, the lone returner from last year's team, playing in the same position. 3-year starter at third base, and a tremendous table setter for this Aggies offense that ranks top 20 in the nation in a host of categories. Looks at strike 1 from the 2-way freshman star, Hannah Wells.
Yeah, I'm sure she's excited as a freshman to get the start in this one. We saw several pitchers pitch for Texas and A&M last night as there was so much offense in the game. But one we did not see was Hannah Wells. So a fresh look for A&M going up against her. Just over a 2 ERA so far in her freshman year. And you mentioned it, a very talented athlete that can not only pitch, but drive in big home runs.
This A&M offense got the night started with a 1-run top of the first. Jumped out to an early lead in a game that had scoring in every inning except the 6th last night in game 1.
What you've come to expect between these two teams is just back and forth, close games, a lot of intensity, and 2 really good offenses that are tough to hold down.
2-2 to Powell. Flares it into left field. And Kyle Altmaier, the transfer from Arizona, there for out number 1.
You already see it going up against Kennedy Powell that Hannah Wells' ball is really moving. It looks like kind of like a wiffle ball coming out of her hand, but the pitch that she'll go to the most is going to be her drop ball. She'll throw it at 67%. That is a high number. Throws with good velocity, 68 to 70, and will also mix in her curveball and her changeup, but a drop ball down in the zone is her go-to.
Interesting to see Texas pitching go after Maya Perez, one of the top hitters in the nation. she has rarely been consistently pitched to this year. Went 2 for 4 yesterday. Tegan Cavan did not shy away from going after the Texas A&M power hitter.
Yeah, and Maya Perez got a little bit out of her strike zone early in the game too, and chased a rise ball from Cavan and chased a couple of other pitches, but Texas really did not work too much around her. She helped them out some, and they threw her strikes. But every time that she comes up, just a lot of respect for the hitter that she is. She was an All-American last year. Was not an everyday starter as a freshman whenever A&M played here in Super Regionals. Had a lot of experience last year.
Batting nearly 500. Riding a 37-game on-base streak dating back to last year. And draws a walk to extend it to 38 straight games reaching base.
Yeah, and didn't get a ton to hit in that at bat right there. The freshman going up against Maya Perez, and a left-handed power hitter for the first time in this series.
And now the Florida transfer, starting catcher Ariel Kowalewski. First pitch ripped past J.C. Nichols at third. 2 on and 1 down for the Aggies in the first.
Yeah, great swing there by Ariel Kowalewski, who was quiet last night. But look at J.C. Nichols, the Texas third baseman, playing well off the line, as even Vivi Martinez, a shortstop, playing a shift more toward the middle of the field, really opened up the third base line for Kowalewski to hit the ball hard, a little bit more down the line, and hit off of Nichols' glove instead of into it. I think that these A&M hitters should be aggressive against Hannah Wells. Looking at her numbers, the first pitch, hitters are hitting .385 whenever they swing. That's the highest batting average against Hannah Wells. So Ariel Kowalewski, first pitch that she sees, being aggressive, seeing one that she likes, and driving it hard.
Well, Michaela Wark, not somebody you want to miss too. She has had a really good stretch of at-bats, Amanda, including a home run and 3 runs batted in last night. Perhaps why we're seeing already Patty Ruth Taylor come out to the circle to talk with Hannah Wells.
Just to make sure early on that she's on the same page with her freshman pitcher, Patty Ruth Taylor, the pitching coach for Texas. Just wanting to make sure that they're on the right page about what the game plan is going to be and how they're going to attack somebody like Wark, who is one of the best home run hitters in the SEC. Of course, it's nice to pitch to Reese Atwood, the All-American, back behind the plate. The senior, if you're a freshman, you feel really confident knowing that she's your backstop and going to have your back the entire game. And she has been back there since her freshman year, a mainstay in that Longhorn uniform.
Reigning National Catcher of the Year, 4-year starter behind the plate. Trying to guide her young freshman in the circle with 2 on and 1 down in the first. 2-0. Such a great rebound for the redshirt senior from Frisco, Texas, transferring in from Oklahoma State, Michaela Wark. Coming off double knee surgery going into last season at Oklahoma State. Didn't quite have the year that she wanted or expected. Taking her final year of eligibility at the flagship program, or one of, in her home state, and gets beamed. Bases loaded now.
See some moments already in this first inning. Hannah Wells' ball just losing command, going way out, way in there for the hit by pitch. Wark trying to walk that one off down the line.
And we welcome those of you joining us on ESPN2 to McCombs Field in Austin, Texas for the Lone Star Showdown, a classic college rivalry between 2 top 15 programs. Matt Schumacher, the former Aggie All-American Amanda Scarborough with you. Texas took game one last night in thrilling fashion, 9-8. And early in game two, A&M challenging. Edwards in the left field. It is caught by Altmaier. Perez will tag and score. Flip to third, and they get the runner, but not before Perez scored. So A&M will take a 1-0 lead into the bottom of the first. Striking first, as they did in game one a night ago. This is one of the great rivalries, Amanda, in college sports. We finally get it again in the regular season for the first time since 2012.
Anytime Texas and Texas A&M meet, it can get a little spicy, and it can be a huge rivalry.
It is one of the most heated rivalries in all of college sports.
Now the time has come.
This series is going to be fun.
The energy, the fans. Aggies don't like to go to Austin because you're in enemy territory.
You got to do it today.
It's the highest level of competition.
You got to do what it takes.
Everybody is out to win.
Leave the hunger inside.
Who's going to be the best team in Texas?
That is the question these two programs are seeking to answer this weekend in Austin, Texas. Of course, the Longhorns taking game one last night in a game that had 17 combined runs, including 5 homers. A&M got off to an early lead. Texas always had a response. We had runs scored in all but the 6th inning last night here in McCombs Field. And Amanda, you played in this heated rivalry during your days at A&M. How much does this really mean, not just in the Lone Star State, but nationally?
Yeah, you know, there's so much familiarity between both of these teams because there's a lot of players from Texas on both teams. They either played with each other on travel ball teams, maybe with each other on high school teams, or likely played against each other. So a lot of history that goes deeper than last year or this year's series. Just so much familiarity in the state of Texas.
26 combined players in this series from the state of Texas. And you heard Kennedy Powell talk about A&M not wanting to come to Austin because that's enemy territory. Trisha Ford told us, expect a spicy series.
Always. 9 of the last 10 games played here in Austin between these two teams have been decided by 1 run, including last night.
Well, back in the circle is Sydney Lessentine for Texas A&M. You saw her start last night. Went 2 1/3, was not her sharpest, gave up 5 earned runs.
She had moments where she was sharp and then moments where she made some mistakes, but Trisha Ford going to give her the ball again. We also saw Kate Munnerlin as well as Sydney Peters and Grace Sparks. A&M used 4 pitchers last night, but opting to go back to Sydney Lessentine, the game 1 starter again.
This Texas Longhorns team has won 28 consecutive games, including 18 in a row here. Vivi Martinez was a menace at the plate last night, 4 for 4 with 2 homers. Bunt dropped down by Kaden Henry, no play at first, she beats it. And the electric speedster is aboard to start the bottom of the first for the Longhorns.
Okay, so yesterday she led off the game for Texas in the bottom half of the inning with a home run, and now she lays down a bunt. It's not even fair the tools that somebody like Kaden Henry has, where she has that twitchy power and also the speed to lay down a bunt and catch the corners off guard.
Trisha Ford out of the dugout. Perhaps we will have a challenge. Our home plate umpire, Robbie Guest, chatting with the A&M head coach.
I think potentially asking maybe if it hit her bat twice or hit off of her foot. To me, I thought I saw something a little bit different live as well. You cannot challenge or really speak to the umpires about her foot being out of the box, which oftentimes you'll see with the lefty slapper who's running through the box, and maybe just asking Robbie Guest, a home plate umpire, to come together with the field umpires to see if they saw anything off of that bunt hit off of her.
Now he's going to get together with Megan Rabin. Our third base umpire, Rick Cowan, up at first.
It got so close to her foot off of the bat. I think that's exactly what they're looking at. Her feet clearly in the box, which again, you can't review anyway, but didn't
Texas A&M is challenging the ruling that the batter was hit with the ball in the batter's box.
Yeah, didn't it come
The following
close to
play
the
is
back
under
foot?
review.
I mean, that came really close, and you would see why Trisha Ford in the A&M dugout might think that it hit off of her back foot, but I don't know with the shots that I've seen if that's clear and obvious that it did, but it came close.
To me, live, I could see, too, her thinking that it went off the front foot. And from that angle, it does look like maybe it caught the big toe of her back
That's
left
right.
foot.
Yeah, and that's this Hawkeye review system that the SEC had last season and that we're looking at again is just so clear. I mean, that to me looks like it hit off of the foot.
After review, the ball did hit the batter in the batter's box. We have a foul ball. The count will be 1-1. Texas A&M does not have any challenges. 2 remaining.
So change in rules this year that you get to keep your challenge if you win it. If you lose it, you lose that challenge. But before, in previous years in softball, no matter if you challenged and won it or lost it, you lost your challenge no matter what. So A&M still has 2 remaining challenges because they won.
And it wipes a bunt single off the board for Caden Henry. Now a 1-1 count from Lessentine. You mentioned the twitchiness of Caden Henry. 3-time All-State Texas high school track and field. Her senior year alone, 200-meter 4x1, 4x2. She can fly. Has been a fantastic table setter her first year as the leadoff for the Longhorns offense. And that runs upstairs.
Yesterday, Sydney Lessentine, as we mentioned, got the start, moved the ball well up in the zone with her rise ball, got several hitters to chase that pitch and mixed in her changeup as well. But that rise ball is going to be the pitch that she goes to the most. Got several of the Texas hitters well out of their strike zone. The pitch that she will lean on the most is a rise ball, throw it at 66 miles an hour, 43% of the time, mixed in with her curve, her change, and her drop ball at 16%, a pitch that I bet that we see a little bit more today to give these hitters a different look.
Leanne Good drops down a bunt. Lessentine fields, flips, it gets into right field, and Henry wisely takes third. And a little bit like we saw last night in game 1, Amanda, a game in which A&M lost by 1 run. Some shakiness defensively for the Aggies.
Yeah, this absolutely has to be an out, and this just comes down to nerves. Kind of that in-between throw because you're moving toward first base, and you don't want to throw it too hard. You don't want to throw it too soft, so you throw it in between and force it. Just difficult for Wark to catch at first base. And now Texas in business, and Trisha Ford going to come out and talk to Sydney Lessentine and her defense after a hit by pitch and then an error committed on that play.
Nobody out, runners at the corners for Vivi Martinez, who homered off Lessentine last night. And doesn't this feel eerily similar to the start last night? A&M got off to a 1-0 lead. Texas comes right back in the bottom of the first, takes the lead with 2 runs.
I mean, there was so much offense in last night's game. We saw 17 runs and basically scoring in every half inning until we got to the 6th inning. Just punch for punch, battling back and forth, Texas fighting. A&M led the majority of the game, and Texas came roaring back, just did not go away, and had the final say with that walk-off win last night.
Well, Vivi Martinez has been a great story, not only in this program, but throughout the nation in collegiate softball. Was a star and a 2-year starter to begin her career at Texas. Missed all of last season with a knee injury. And delivers the game-tying base hit in the bottom of the first tier. Driving in Henry from third.
You just can't get her out right now. She is 5 for 5 in this series now with 5 RBIs and has been so good at handling pitches up in the zone. Just gets her barrel, on top of that pitch to drive it to the outfield. A short swing that Vivi Martinez has and really barrel up balls.
Still nobody out. Go ahead run in scoring position for Reese Atwood, reigning first team All-American. She is batting a whopping .463 with runners in scoring position this year. Drives it into center field. Scooped up by Mathis. And around to score easily from second base, Leanne Good to give Texas the lead.
Texas is being aggressive early in the count. Lessentine goes to her changeup. Reese recognizes it, just is not fooled at all. She ends up getting on time with that pitch and driving it deep out to center field to give Texas back the lead. That's a good sign for Texas if Reese Atwood is going to have swings like that in this game.
The NCAA's active RBI leader adding to her tally and passing the bat to Katie Stewart. Oh, it's so interesting. Texas, of course, has the #1 next to their name, but they haven't been talked about, Amanda, in the same way that a team like Oklahoma has been talked about this year. But Mike White's team is dangerous from top to bottom, returning 8 starters from the World Series championship team a season ago.
I think everybody in the softball world has just been trying to figure out, like, why have they kind of flown under the radar? Like, why is that? They're the defending national champs. They bring back Tegan Cavan, she's just a junior. They bring back Katie Stewart, who's one of the best home run hitters in the country, and Reese Atwood. I mean, they bring back such a great core that went on that national championship run, but yet they're still kind of flying under the radar. And
if you ask Mike White, he probably likes that.
Yeah, I think every coach would like for their team to fly under the radar, maybe use it for some bulletin board material here and there, but maybe because of OU and their home run power, Tennessee and their great pitching staff that's one of the best in the country, and then Texas Tech with Nyjah Kennedy and all their big names from the transfer portal. You've got their teams.
Throw down to second, not in time. Atwood takes on stolen base, and now 2 in scoring position. Still nobody out for the Longhorns here in the home half of the first. Two to Katie Stewart. Big out needed by Sydney Lessentine, the first of the inning.
Yeah, you said it. And with 2 runners in scoring position and nobody out, it just feels like you need a strikeout in that situation. And Lessentine gets it with the rise ball. We saw her throw that pitch last night for some strikeouts and gets Katie Stewart chasing out of the zone for a big K.
Hannah Wells, her counterpart. Not only the starting pitcher today for Texas, but also batting for herself. The 2025 Gatorade National High School Player of the Year.
And how big would it be if Lessentine could get this second out and be a pitch from getting out of this jam that she found herself in? I mean, props to her for getting the strikeout of Katie Stewart and getting ahead of Hannah Wells in an 0-2 count. A strikeout here would be huge if she goes back to that rise ball to get her to chase.
One-two.
Big time home run power with somebody like Hannah Wells, who hit, I think, 31 home runs her senior year in one season. And put up those offensive numbers and contributing to the pitching staff. It's a huge deal.
Goes down on strikes on an elevated pitch from Lesentine. That's back-to-back for the Aggies starting pitcher.
Okay, I'm not going to lie. I wanted this pitch 2 pitches ago, but threw a curveball and then a changeup, and then went back to that rise ball to get her to chase well out of the zone. You talk about a big deal. Back-to-back strikeouts on the road with runners in scoring position and nobody out. That is a big deal right there for Lesentine and A&M's momentum.
Little nubbler off the end of the bat of Altmaier, and that is an easy out. Lesentine gets out of the jam. It's a 2-1 lead for the Longhorns.
Will donate $100 to the Developing Neighborhood Athletes Fund benefiting youth sports. As of today's game, the Longhorns have hit 52 home runs, raising $5,200 for the DNA Fund. Congratulations.
Back in Austin, a little bit of deja vu. Same start as last night. Texas A&M jumped off to a 1-0 lead. Longhorns respond with 2 runs to gain the lead in the home half. Matt Schumacher, the former Aggie All-American, Amanda Scarborough. Texas, of course, has that #1 next to their name, the reigning national champs. Feels like a really big series, though, for them and especially for A&M.
Yeah, I think every team kind of has a little bit something to prove. For Texas, are they the true #1 team? They got that #1 ranking because Tennessee lost last weekend to Florida, and as we said, they've been flying a little bit under the radar, so they have a chance to prove themselves against their in-state rival here. That's also a top 15 opponent. And for A&M, they need some of these close game wins that you know that you're going to get in a series going up against Texas. A lot of close games, 1-run games, and just games when they play each other that are back and forth.
Kelsey Mathis leads it off with a deep ball in the hole at second and beats it out. Great play by Leanne Good to keep it in the infield and make it a close play at first. Well, you mentioned all the close games that A&M has played, and a lot of them against ranked competition. They have had a tough schedule, though. Their strength of schedule metric maybe doesn't totally reflect that. And that's part of why it feels to me anyway, Amanda, that this is such a crucial game 2 in this series for an A&M team that maybe didn't have all the same expectations coming into this year that they had last year with all the turnover, but still a really talented team that has a chance to make a run.
Coach Ford was really happy with the way that they hit in last night's game. Put up those 8 runs, just continue to fight and battle. A lot of tenacity in the box that you've seen from this A&M team since she's taken over the program, now in her 4th year.
0-2 count to KK DeMent.
But you see that A&M is playing to win this game by starting Sydney Lesentine in back-to-back games. Maybe you might start someone else, but I think knowing that Texas was likely not to start their ace in Tegan Cavan, Trisha Ford wanted to go a different route, maybe start Sydney Lesentine in any other series in game 3, but instead wanted to go all in for this game. Give it to the hot hand of Sydney Lesentine and Sydney Peters, who've been essentially the co-aces for this A&M team, and just see if Lessentine can pick up where she left off in last night's game and give them a quality start, trying to win this game to tie up the series.
And that's something new too for A&M. We talked about all the turnover in the starting lineup. Of course, they lost Lefty Kennedy, an All-American pitcher. And so Lessentine and Peters have had to elevate. Good walk drawn there by DeMent, who is down in the count. And now 2 on, nobody out. Well, coming up today over on ESPN, we continue our coverage of Women's March Madness. The Sweet 16 features Oklahoma taking on South Carolina, trying to make a run back to the Final Four. And then perhaps the dandy of the tournament, Virginia, the last remaining double-digit seed, taking on TCU later, 7:30 Eastern, right here on ESPN.
This ball coming out of the hand of Hannah Wells, I referred to it kind of as a wiffle ball when we started this game as she throws to Paisley Allen, but it just is kind of floating around and having this late break that's difficult to even bunt. 2 attempts there by Paisley Allen, couldn't get it down, but when you watch just the movement of Hannah Wells' pitches, I think at times, in this game at least, she's losing command of it because her ball is moving so much in this game.
A strikeout of Allen, the first of the afternoon for Hannah Wells. 1 down in a second.
This late break, I can just see it. I don't know if you can see it, but I can just see this late break from the freshman, and that's a pitch right down the heart of the plate. Atwood sets up on the outside corner. It bleeds back and moves back in toward Allen, and it just froze her.
Now the 9-hitter Frankie Vrajel, first pitch swinging, backing up at short. Martinez. They will get the second out. No opportunity for a double play. And the lineup will turn over for Kennedy Powell, riding a 37-game on-base streak. One of the elite leadoff hitters in the country.
Seeing Kennedy Powell keep her feet still and swing away here. Saw her go to her slap a lot in yesterday's game. A player with a ton of speed can lay down a bunt, power slap through the infield when she moves through the box, or keep her feet still and swing away with the runner 60 feet away.
Powell laser in the left, tails foul.
This is something that Kennedy Powell worked hard on. She might go to her slap with 2 strikes here. Sometimes you'll see slappers who also swing away, just have better barrel control with 2 strikes, maybe see the ball a little bit better. So she still may go to her slap here, but swinging away fully is something that she worked hard on in the fall.
Snap throw down the third. The reigning Johnny Bench Award winner behind the plate for Texas. A sneaky play to get the Longhorns out of the inning.
What a play. Sneaky, sneaky. Kelsey Mathis not expecting this at all. She juked her, looking like Reese Atwood was going to go to second for the steal. Instead, she pops it over to third for the pickoff. That was great.
Well, under Mike White, the Texas Longhorns softball program has had a ton of recent success. Women's College World Series runner-up in 2022, the first appearance in the Women's College World Series since 13. Did it again in 2024, losing to Oklahoma. Last year got over the hump, finally won Amanda the program's first Women's College World Series title. It has propelled them to a 28-game win streak this year, the longest active streak in the nation. Bunt dropped down off the bat of Nichols, and that results in the first out of the top of the second.
And the longest win streak in their program history, which is rich in history, of course, here at Texas. But Mike White, what he did at Oregon, of course, came over here to be the head coach at Texas, just a mainstay at Oregon and Texas in the Super Regionals and Women's College World Series. He is a proven winner, super competitive. It just seems like year after year, the teams that he coaches are in the top 16 at least.
Really turned the Ducks into a perennial national power. They never got over the hump there, winning a title, but he was able to do it here last year against Texas Tech, Nyjah Kennedy, which for so much of the season was the story in college softball because of the roster they had constructed.
Well, and it's crazy to think about Texas's national championship run because they played Clemson and Supers here in Austin, and Clemson was just 60 feet away from winning that Super Regional and sending Texas home. But just a team that has proven in the postseason, they just don't quit. They do not go away. I mean, even think about 2 weekends before that in the 2025 season, A&M run ruled them in the SEC tournament, close call at the Super Regional, and then went on to play in the Women's College World Series and just did not look back. Tegan Cavan dominated it, ended up being the most outstanding player. She just pitched so well in Oklahoma City.
Texas's 56 wins last year, the most in program history. They returned 8 starters from that team and 3 pitchers, including Tegan Cavan, who we saw last night get the win in game 1 for Texas. Back to the top of the order. Here's Kaden Henry with 2 down.
What a luxury to have Tegan Cavan on your staff. There's very few pitchers that are dominant pitchers in our sport right now. Our sport is so much about offenses and home runs and high-scoring games, but to have a hammer like Tegan Cavan, you love that if you're a Texas fan. And the fact she's just a junior. You get her for the rest of this year, and you get her for next year. She won a national championship and did that the Women's College World Series as just a sophomore.
And the most outstanding player of that Women's College World Series in Oklahoma City. This would be a huge 1-2-3 inning for Sydney Lessentine, who faced 7 batters in the first. As a 2-2 count with 2 down to Henry.
Yeah, I mean, going back to the first inning, finding herself with 2 runners in scoring position after 2 runs scored and had back-to-back strikeouts and then a weak ground ball to second base to get out of the inning, and then 2 outs here. So 5 outs in a row now for Lessentine, the last 5 she's faced.
Gets a swing and a miss from Henry. And the drop third strike completed by Ariel Kowalewski. A 10-pitch, 1-2-3 second for Lessentine. 1-run game for Texas.
number 1 seed has been eliminated in this regional round. Group drills this. There it goes. Gone! Swing and a miss. Ball game over. Liberty does the unthinkable. It knocks out the number 1 overall seed.
A historic upset last year in College Station. Tricia Ford told us this program still feels the sting of that loss. The first ever number 1 overall seed to lose in a regional. That ball hits the helmet of Kennedy Powell, who returns from that team. A 3-year starter, Amanda, somebody that brings a lot of experience to this A&M team that will now try to get to the Women's College World Series this year. Felt like they had the team to do it last year and just fell short in the regional.
Yeah, I mean, even earning the number 1 overall national seed for the first time in program history is a huge deal. But think about it, the first year that Tricia Ford took over the program, they were on the road as a 2 seed at a regional and did not get a national seed that year. And then the following year, the number 16 national seed, so growth there. And then the following year, which was last year, the number 1 overall national seed. And finished at the top of the SEC, had just a great run, a lot of a veteran team, a lot of big wins that led to that number 1 national seed, but just could not come through with the win in College Station against a very talented Liberty team that made it to Supers instead.
And that wasn't totally out of nowhere either. That Liberty program has been building and building. It was just the shock of a number 1 seed and a team in Texas A&M who just, you know, a week prior had won the SEC tournament for the first time in program history. Maya Perez, too, returns from last year's number 1 overall seed. One of the great hitters in all of college softball has had an otherworldly start to this season. Ropes this down the line in left field. If it's fair, it's gone, and it's foul. Robbie Guest running up the third base line, waving that foul. But boy, it looked close for a minute there for Maya Perez.
And, you know, in our sport, our offenses are growing so much, and our foul poles just these days always look so tiny. We need much bigger foul poles at our fields, which I know is just a very small, detailed complaint here, but the balls are just going 300 feet now. Like that. It just makes it difficult or more difficult to tell on deep fly balls like that.
Get us at least halfway up the light pole.
Right? Like, don't they look so small? When you,
They
I
do.
mean, you see other newer stadiums now that have much bigger, extravagant foul poles. They're needed in our sport right now.
Just like we need this rivalry every year.
Amen, brother. We do. And that is an SEC scheduling byproduct is that you play different teams every year, and in my opinion, you need to play your rivals every year. This matchup needs to happen in the regular season every year.
Perez, mile high pop up right side. Leanne Good at second will make the catch. First out of the third.
That is a big out after that long, loud foul ball for the freshman to go up against Maya Perez and change speeds a little bit. That one coming in at 60, getting her just out in front off the end of the bat for an out after that foul ball that went about 280 feet.
Ball 1 to Ariel Kowalewski, one of 9 newcomers for Texas A&M. Had to sit out in the fall after transferring mid-year from Florida, where she was the everyday starting third baseman. And here this year did not begin as the starting catcher, but as the year unfolded, they decided they needed to make a change behind the plate. And she went from never catching even a bullpen to being the starting catcher for the Aggies, and has been fantastic ever since. Throw down to second, catches Kennedy Powell. And that snaps one of the nation's longest stolen base streaks. Reese Atwood with a gun behind the plate.
And that is Kennedy Powell's former teammate. They played travel ball together on the hot shots. They know each other very well, but this is all Reese Atwood, who is just showing off her arm in this game. Had a pick off at third base earlier, and then that throw absolutely on the money to get one of the fastest players in the SEC out.
She had stolen 42 consecutive bags without being thrown out. And Reese Atwood said, not on me.
So good. Reese is really tall and long too. She stands at about 6 feet tall and receives well, has that beautiful throw down to second base that just is so consistently in the same spot for whoever is covering at second every time.
Ball gets away from Atwood. Kowalewski, who just walked, will pat her up to second base. And so now the tying run in scoring position for the dangerous Oklahoma State transfer Michaela Wark, who homered last night in game 1. Well, the NCAA Women's Championship continues tomorrow with 2 Elite 8 games on ABC and the ESPN app. First, it's number 6 Notre Dame, Hannah Hidalgo, taking on UConn, the reigning national champs who have won 53 consecutive games. And then number 1 UCLA taking on a sneaky Duke team that won the ACC tournament. Part of a massive doubleheader on ABC and ESPN in the Women's Elite 8.
Remember Megan Grant, the senior at UCLA, one of the best home run hitters this season, also played basketball to start the season. And then once softball started up, she being her primary sport, now just playing softball, but contributed to that UCLA basketball team early in the season.
Because of her good friend Lauren Betts, representing the number 1 seed UCLA Bruins. Convinced the softball star to come out for the team. They had some injuries. They needed some extra bodies. And Megan Grant went from a practice player to a real player.
Love your basketball knowledge, especially this time of year. You see this shift that Leanne Good, the second baseman, and as well as Katie Stewart have with Wark up, really shading her toward the pull side, playing her a little bit more up the middle, opens up that first base line and right field line. Look at the spray chart, some game planning here and understanding the defensive alignments for each hitter in A&M's lineup.
Wark beats the shift in the right field, and that ties the game at 2 as Kowalewski scores from second base. What a tear Michaela Wark has been on since putting on an Aggie uniform at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, and she just gets jammed up, but Michaela Wark is so strong that despite getting jammed, she's able to muscle it through the shift out of the reach of Leanne Good, who again was playing more up the middle of the field. Think about that. If she was playing her normal second base position, I think that would have been an out.
Sometimes the irony of this game is enough to make your head spin if you're a head coach. Meanwhile, Talon Edwards, who is a former teammate of Wark's at Oklahoma State, transferred in with her this year, comes to the plate for A&M. 1-1 count. And she too has had a little bit of a rebirth in terms of her career. Such a fantastic player at Oklahoma State last year. Didn't have the season she wanted, nor did the Cowgirls as a whole. Sought a fresh start at the tail end of her career, and boy, has she been spectacular as their starting second baseman.
Yeah, Coach Ford talked about how Talon Edwards has just really dived into the mental approach and has been a big part of the changes in her game and working with Jeff Hargard, the third base coach and the hitting coach for A&M.
Edwards left side, backhanded at third. Nichols, long throw, picked by Stewart. And that gets Texas out of the inning. But A&M ties it on an RBI single by Michaela Wark. 2 apiece in Austin.
for the past 3 years, when you face Texas, you know that you have to face Reese Atwood and Katie Stewart in the lineup, two of the most powerful hitters in the SEC and really in the nation. Reese Atwood and Stewart being All-Americans. They have 28 home runs combined. It's a pick your poison in the Texas lineup between those two. RBIs galore, and they have proven as veterans that that's what they're going to do their entire careers.
Two up, third and fourth in the bottom of the third of a tie game against their arch rival Texas A&M. And you just said something that's such a rarity in today's era of all of college sports, not just softball. You said for the last 3 years, you have to contend with these two players in a Texas uniform. It's the type of continuity that Mike White told us has made a real difference to their culture this year. There's an ownership about this Texas team, and particularly, Amanda, the returning veterans that he did not see in previous years. And it's helped them to their best start in program history, 30-1. The lone loss to Jordy Fromm and Nebraska, all the way back on February 7th.
Well, he said this is a very tight-knit and close group, as the fans did not agree with that strike call for the second strike and that 1-1 count to go in the way of Sydney Lessentine. But how could you not be close-knit after all the postseason games that you've been through, probably team meetings, just fall practices, the grind? I mean, that is the type of stuff that brings you together, not just what you see in the games, but it's all the things that you see, or that you don't see, I should say, outside of the games that makes this group just so close together.
Two-two to Leanne Good. Such a strong returning contingent, not just from last year's championship team, but as we showed you a half inning or two ago, a team that finished runner-up to Oklahoma in 2024. A lot of players have played in 2 Women's College World Series Champ Series coming into this year. Good rolled to short, first out of the inning.
Well, Coach White talked about, after winning the national championship, looking back, how important that team unity is, and how this has just been a program that has been built over a period of time. Hold on, this character showed up at the 2024 Super Regional. The Longhorn, the man and the dog riding the Longhorn is just this rivalry in a nutshell, I think.
Don't forget your cowboy boots.
Yeah, that was... it's hard not to get distracted, and now there's still another horse behind left field with a dog on it going down the street. So just typical Texas things, Lone Star Showdown things. When I was younger and playing in that, yeah, do you have to stop at the stop sign if you're riding the Longhorn, or is this just a little pit stop?
When you got horns like that, you better stop at a stop sign.
Oh, it's just so good. And OU Texas baseball playing across the street too. That series being in town, literally just right across the street. They'll be playing later on. But so what I was going to say, at Nationals, when I was playing softball, and I think I was in 12U, you'd go to Nationals and teams from all over the country would come into this one place. And it was so cool at 11, 12 years old to play teams from different states. When you're that age, you're just used to your little community, right? And teams would come up to me and our team be like, do you guys ride horses to school? Me being from Texas. And so that was a real stereotype that people had and asked us at Nationals. But then you watch games on ESPN2 and you see Longhorns and people riding Longhorns and horses down the street. And I'm like, oh, okay, so this is where that comes from.
We're perpetuating the stereotype today.
And no, I didn't ride a Longhorn or a horse to school, in case you were wondering.
Viv Martinez, fly ball to left. Second out. Did you wear the big belt buckle, 10-gallon hat, cowboy boots to school?
I'm going to let you guess. Do you think I wore that to school?
Maybe on Halloween.
Never.
Never.
Never. I barely like barbecue as a Texan.
No,
I know that makes me a weirdo. I know. Just had it too much growing up.
Matt Schumacher, the former Aggie All-American, Amanda Scarborough with you. Tied at 2 in the third of Game 2 in a series with rich history. Two of the great rivals in all of college sports. First time, however, that they've played in a regular season series since 2012. After A&M, of course, left the Big 12 for the SEC. Texas following. This is crushed off the bat of Reese Atwood. A moonshot to give the Longhorns the lead again. Home run of the year for the reigning first-team All-American.
Reese Atwood is single-handedly grabbing all of the momentum for Texas in this game. Defensively back behind the plate, and now with her batter, again with her bat, I should say. A couple of RBIs in this game. Now that solo home run giving her team the lead, and she wasn't sure. She was looking at her team, her coaches, is it fair, is it foul? And then she got to second, like, are you guys gonna tell me if like I should just continue to jog the bases here? And yes, that was a fair ball. 68 career home runs for Reese Atwood, which is a career record that she broke the record of Taylor Hoagland from earlier in the year.
This is launched off the bat of Stewart to right field, and it's off the wall and foul. Everybody in the stadium, 3,000 plus, on their feet thinking we were going to have back-to-back jacks for the Longhorns.
But let me tell you why that Reese Atwood home run was so important. Sydney Lessentine was cruising. She had retired 8 in a row and quickly got 2 outs in this inning, and then Reese Atwood comes up and grabs the momentum back from Sydney Lessentine with that one swing, bringing it right into Stewart's big swing that went foul.
Stewart, laser in the left, caught by Paisley Allen, and that'll do it for the third. But Reese Atwood strikes again. The NCAA active leader in RBI with her second of the day.
These fans are used to seeing a Reese Atwood home run go over that left field wall, and that swing gives the Longhorns the lead in this rivalry matchup, Game 2.
You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Another gorgeous afternoon in the Lone Star State. Rivalry renewed in the regular season. 15 Texas A&M taking on number 1 Texas. We're now joined by the A&M head coach, Trisha Ford. Coach, appreciate your time. Feels like deja vu. Back and forth game in game 1. Last night we have the same here again today. What's it going to take for your ladies to get a win against the number 1 team in the country?
Yeah, we just got to keep fighting. I think, obviously it's going back and forth. We're doing some things really well and some things that, we just can't make mistakes on. So I think we just got to keep battling and I like our chances.
Coach, you're in it with your pitchers going up against this Texas offense. What makes them so tough to pitch against with the offense that they have?
Yeah, and I just think they have, they have righty power, they have lefty power, they have speed, and so I think, obviously Coach White's done a good job of recruiting, and but I also think that we have good arms, and I know that we are able to come out here and execute. When we execute our game plan, we're in it. So,
Coach, appreciate your time.
Thanks so much. Gig 'em.
A&M enters the fourth down 1 after they led 1-0 to begin the game. It's really very similar to last night. A&M jumped out to an early lead each time A&M scored. Texas responded. Their offense again today has been very good. Went 6 for 15 yesterday with runners in scoring position. They've been applying pressure to the Texas pitching staff. Strike 1 to Kelsey Mathis.
There's been that lack of command that the freshman in Hannah Wells has shown at times with a couple of walks, couple of hit by pitches. In fact, both of the runs that have scored for A&M off of Wells got on base via base on balls. And you've seen her not throw a ton of strikes.
Lined into right field, and that is off the base of the wall. Kelsey Mathis stretching for 2. No, sir, says Ashton Maloney. A dart from right field, and the first out of the fourth.
Ashton Maloney has been out in right field for Texas for years, and Coach White always raves about her throw, but plays this one off of the wall so well, knows that it's going to hit off the top and is ready to get it from the bottom of the wall, communicating with her to know exactly where to go with the throw to Vivi Martinez. That is perfect. You could not make a more perfect throw than what Ashton Maloney just did from the wall. And I did see a slight hesitation from Kelsey Mathis going around first base. You cannot hesitate. If you hesitate, you're out, especially with the way that Texas is making throws in this game defensively today.
Behind the plate and in the outfield. Texas defense perhaps has been the star of this game so far. Reese Atwood catching Kennedy Powell stealing, also picked off Kelsey Mathis at third base a couple of innings ago. And now Ashton Maloney in right field showing off the rope. 0-2 count to KK Dement.
Texas defensively playing solid back behind their freshmen in the circle, making plays for her, especially Reese Atwood, and of course that throw by Maloney. You just see how veteran this team is. Basically all juniors and seniors who start for them in every position.
Second strikeout of the game for the freshman Hannah Wells, and 2 down in the fourth.
This is a pitch that is just spinning like crazy. Gets ahead and then goes to this off-speed curveball that is through the heart of the plate, but she has fantastic spin on that pitch that plays with the hitter's eyes, thinking that that pitch is coming in faster than what it really was.
2 gone for Paisley Allen.
And you see this bit of lack of command from Wells as Atwood sets up on the outside corner, and then that pitch kind of fades inside. It's just tricky spin and movement that Wells is showing in this game, along with changing speeds well. Another one, and you can see a little frustrated with herself because of that. Oftentimes what I'll look at, and it's not super scientific, I'm just looking at where is the catcher setting up as she's going through her motion. And see Reese Atwood setting up on the outside corner, and then her glove as the ball approaches starts to drift toward the middle of the plate. Those are missed location pitches by Hannah Wells.
Pitching guru Mike White told us, Amanda, that when she got to campus, she was a quote-unquote thrower. Somebody that just got by with her sheer velocity and power in high school. And over the course of the first 31 games of the season, learning the art and the nuance of pitching. Ahead in the count here. And gets back-to-back strikeouts. A 1-2-3 4th for Hannah Wells. And Texas feeling the momentum swelling here in Austin, a 1-run lead.
Exclusively on ESPN, 40-plus NCAA championships. Confetti rains. Nets are cut. Joy erupts. Hardware is hoisted. History happens here on ESPN, home of NCAA championships.
You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Welcome back to McCombs Field in Austin, Texas. Another packed house for this top 15 rivalry showdown between the Longhorns and the Aggies. We're joined by #1 Texas's head coach, Mike White. Coach, your defense today has really popped. There seems to be a confidence and a calmness with all your veterans out there. Do you feel that from the dugout?
Yeah, absolutely. You see it every day in practice, what they can do, and it's just a matter of executing it when it comes to game time, and they're doing a great job of that right now. We're sort of, they're hitting the ball pretty well, but we're able to make some plays and get out of some jams.
Yeah, Coach, how would you rate Hannah Wells' outing so far against a great A&M offense?
I would say it was a B. She's making some big pitches when it counts, and then, of course, the defense behind her just got in trouble with some walks and hit by batter, and if you can eliminate that, just like last innings, 3 up, 3 down, let her defense play, should be great.
Back-to-back strikeouts to end the last half inning. Coach, appreciate your time.
All right, hook 'em.
Texas with a 1-run lead. Hannah Wells will lead off the 4th for the Longhorns. The two-way star, reigning National Gatorade Player of the Year at the high school level. From the state of Texas, grew up on this rivalry, not just in softball, but in all sports, and now relishing the opportunity to pitch on the biggest of stages. Sydney Lessentine back in the circle for Texas A&M. Starting for the 2nd consecutive time in this series, lasting longer than she did in game 1. Went 2 1/3. Gave up 5 earned runs as Wells flares it into right. Rajal there for the first out.
Sydney Lessentine, you take out that Reese Atwood home run in the last inning. She's done such a great job of settling into this game and making better spots with her pitches, mixing speeds well, like with that changeup, working low and away from Hannah Wells. It was a tough first inning for Lessentine that she worked through and is still hanging in this game against a great offense.
Faced 7 batters in the first. And you're right, aside from that solo home run by Reese Atwood, which puts Texas back in front, she's looked sharp. Quick, efficient innings for Sydney Lessentine.
She throws a lot of strikes too, only 1 3-ball count that Texas has found themselves in this game. Not a pitcher that walks a lot and gives up a lot of free passes, although she did hit Caden Henry to start the game, and she came around to score, followed by an error that scored.
Pitching was the one thing Trisha Ford emphasized to us when we chatted with her this morning prior to first pitch that really stood out to her in the loss last night. Felt like, Amanda, they were missing their spots, leaving the ball out over the plate a little bit too much against the Texas team that is top 10 in a host of offensive categories.
This offense will make you pay for those mistakes in a big way, and I think that both pitching staffs felt that.
There's a free pass to Kaya Altmaier. 1 out, 1 on for Texas. Well, ESPN is now the home of MLB.com. You can stream every out-of-market game live or on demand using the ESPN app. Blackout and other restrictions apply. For more information, go to ESPN.com/MLB TV. Strike 1 to JC Nichols. Freshman from Durant, Oklahoma.
We talked about all the returners for this Texas team from last year's national championship run, but one person that is not returning is Mia Scott because she graduated and eventually everybody has to leave the program, and we're used to seeing Mia Scott over at third base, and then in comes JC Nichols at third base to take her place. Mia Scott talk about Kate Henry being electric. Nia Scott was so electric in her career at Texas, just so clutch, a gamer. When you lost her, you lost a big piece, even though they still have that good core. But to bring in somebody like J.C. Nichols, who Mike White feels like is kind of similar to Nia Scott in a lot of ways with her athleticism, it's a big deal.
Big shoes to fill, too, as a freshman for a team that's coming off a national championship. But you talked about her athletic pedigree, won state championships in both fast pitch and slow pitch softball, was a state champion in track and field as well, and an excellent high school basketball player. What can't this young lady do?
So many of these players play many sports, and I feel like as a young athlete, you're told, hey, you just got to only pitch and only play softball, and it's just one of those myths that I think are out there, because you look at the bios of a lot of these players, and I know you read them and prep for a game, and there's a lot of multi-athlete players that come and play college softball. Or multi-sport athletes, I should say, that come and play softball. They're playing basketball. Track is a really big one. I feel like basketball has become really big. There's several Oklahoma freshmen that were very serious in playing basketball, but track is also big in there as well.
What other sports did you play growing up?
Yeah, I played volleyball and basketball in middle school, and then a year of volleyball in high school. But volleyball was my favorite. I wish I could have kept going.
Really?
I really liked volleyball. I still do. But, you know, when you're 5'5", and you're pretty serious about softball, I didn't want to get injured, so I stopped after my freshman year.
Focusing on softball seems to have worked out well for you.
I think that was one of those hindsight good decisions that me and my parents made.
2-2 count to J.C. Nichols, whose first year on the softball team at Texas has also worked out well to this point. Rolls it to short. They'll get the lead runner. Not enough time to get Nichols. 2 down. And that will bring up the 9-hitter and starting right fielder Ashton Maloney.
Ashton Maloney is not going to make this easy. Had a 2-for-3 night last night and has just a lot of experience in that Texas uniform. But it feels like this is an important out here for A&M with the top of the order on deck and Caden Henry and Leanne Good looming, wanting to get up with runners on base. Ashton Maloney showing bunt there to pull in Kennedy Powell, and Cindy Lessentine drops in that changeup. But this is a really important moment in this game, going up against the 9-hole at the top of the order coming up soon.
School record 93 hits last year, and she's batting in the bottom of the order. That is how dangerous this Longhorns offense is from top to bottom.
Remember, she made that great play out in right field from the wall with that throw to second base. Just a lot of experience in the box, a lot of experience out in right field.
3-time all-conference outfielder, twice in the Big 12, last year in the SEC. Flies the 0-2 out of play. Lessentine battling nearly through 4 at just 60 pitches. Throw gets away from Ariel Kowalewski and allows just enough time for Nichols to scoot up to second base.
They were sending her on the pitch, as Mike White really considers her a great base stealer, so she was going on the pitch. Tough pitch for Kowalewski to handle, but such a big deal to get her into scoring position with the experience of Maloney in these types of situations.
11th stolen base of the year for Nichols. Here's the 1-2. Maloney into center, and instead the left fielder Allen will make the play to end the inning. 1-run game in this classic rivalry. A&M trying to knock the series at 1 apiece.
The series is going to be fun.
The energy, the fans. Aggies don't like to go to Austin because you're in enemy territory.
You got to do it today.
It's the highest level of competition.
You got to do what it takes.
Everybody is out to win.
Who's going to be the best team in Texas?
9 of the last 10 times these teams have played in Austin, the game has been decided by 1 run. We have a 1-run game again here in Game 2, as we did last night in Game 1. Matt Schumacher, Amanda Scarborough with you. The Texas Longhorns have won 28 consecutive games. To their best start in program history at 30-1. The lone loss to Nebraska. Still perfect in SEC play. And the freshman Hannah Wells with an 0-2 count to start the 5th. Taking on the 9-hitter Frankie Vrajel with Kennedy Powell in the top of this A&M order looming.
And she's been so good in 0-2 counts, 1-2 counts. She's given up only 1 hit when she's in those pitcher counts coming into this game.
Vrajel sprays it into left field and a leadoff single for the Aggie 9-hitter.
To turn herself into a leadoff hitter as the 9-hole with the speed that Vrajel has and the different tools, just good bat-to-ball skills, making the most of that 2-strike count, just poking it out to left field, and now get the top of the order up with Powell and Perez on deck.
She represents the tying run here in the 5th. Does have 5 stolen bases. Powell, chopper to first, foul. Very few times do we see opponents try to run on Reese Atwood. Kennedy Powell tried to do that a couple of innings ago, had the nation's longest active stolen base streak, and that was halted by the arm of Atwood.
Again, remember they were former teammates on their Hot Shots team out of the Houston area. And other people that were on that team, it's really a deep list here because you have Issa Torres from Florida State, Ava Brown from Florida, Cassidy Pickering from OU, Maddie McKee from LSU.
Runner goes. Atwood's throw is in time by a long shot. Second runner caught stealing, and Vrajel is the first out of the inning.
I think that was a bit of a miscommunication. I don't know why you would be stealing when Reese Atwood has just had her way with base runners in this game, and maybe it's the fact she saw it in the dirt. Going on the pitch didn't even matter that it was in the dirt. Vivi Martinez keeps the tag on her to get her out. Reese Atwood now has thrown out 3 different base runners, and A&M's base running in general has struggled in this game and cost them a lot of outs.
Had a pick off at third and has caught 2 runners trying to steal second base in this game alone, plus the home run. MVP candidate of Game 2 for sure. And now the base is clear for Kennedy Powell, who grins at her former Hot Shots teammate. Were you a Hot Shot?
I was not a hot shot.
You were not a Hot Shot. Powell's 2-2, rolled to first. Stewart gloves, 2 gone. Well, coming up today over on ESPN, the women's basketball Sweet 16 continues. Oklahoma faces 1 seed South Carolina, 5 Eastern. We cap the day with the darlings of the dance. Virginia taking on TCU. Virginia's already won 3 straight games in this tournament, from first 4 to Sweet 16. First time the Cavs have been in the Sweet 16 since the year 2000.
And South Carolina always so dominant.
Always.
Kind of like Oklahoma in softball, right?
Very.
Like you think about OU and softball and their dominance, and with South Carolina, who's playing Oklahoma basketball-wise, very dominant year after year.
Some activity in the Texas bullpen. Have already seen Tegan Cavan and Cam Salmon in this series. Of course, Kavan got the start, was relieved midway through the game, came back in game 1 to finish innings 6 and 7, got the win. Roped hard off the bat of Maya Perez to extend the 5th.
Saw Tegan Kavan warming up. I would not be surprised if this game is close, that we see her enter in relief, despite seeing her just start the game and come in relief in last night's game. And Texas played a tight midweek game on Wednesday against Texas State in San Marcos. They trailed the entire game, and Tegan Kavan actually had to enter into that game. And I don't think that that's something that Texas necessarily wanted in their midweek, but were forced to bring her in. So she's pitched a lot this week in tight games too, and she's the hammer on the staff, the ace of the staff that's looming in this game.
And Amanda, not like she can't handle it, but Mike White has made it a point to try and limit overusing her during the regular season. He's got an inning count in mind that he wants to stay under prior to the postseason. Last year becoming the ace for this Longhorns team, the most outstanding player in the Women's College World Series.
Well, and that's something that all these coaches are dealing with, is how can I keep my ace fresh for the month of May? Because these SEC games, of course, are important in making a run at an SEC regular season title, but ultimately you want to be your freshest, or I don't think you're really going to be your freshest, but you want to be feeling really good in the month of May, especially as a pitcher. Offenses are so good in our sport right now. They are getting battle tested. It's easy for these coaches to lean on their ace and continually bring them in. But as a coach, you have to be cognizant of how much you're using them.
Through 207 innings last year, second most in the SEC behind Carlin Pickens. 3-1 hit sharply to third, gloved by Nichols. And Wells keeps this solid outing rolling for Texas. Longhorns with a 1-run lead. Reese Atwood has done it behind the plate and at the plate. Amanda, she has been the star of game 2.
And trying to get going offensively, had an RBI single in her first at bat, and then a solo home run that has given Texas the lead. And then back behind the plate, essential momentum changers with her throws. A pickoff at third base, a 2 caught stealing at second base with a couple of the fastest players in the A&M lineup. But Reese Atwood, have yourself a day. Absolutely showing off her arm for all these fans that are here for this in-state rivalry game today.
She is a pro. a reigning first-team All-American, the Johnny Bench Award winner from 2025, and an unquestioned leader for the reigning national champs.
Well, and you said pro, and it is something to think about in our sport, just how well the AUSL Pro League is doing. And a lot of great seniors all across the country and a lot of different teams. Of course, the senior pitchers come to mind with Jordy Fromm and Carlin Pickens and Nyjah Kennedy, but Reese Atwood and Jordan Woolery from UCLA, Megan Grant from UCLA, Jocelyn Erickson from Florida. We're talking about position players that can absolutely rake, that you would think as seniors are likely to be drafted to play in the AUSL.
2-1 count to Caden Henry. Drops down a bunt. Lessentine, no throw there for the starting pitcher.
That's one as a pitcher that in order to get her out, you essentially need to start running forward as soon as you see her square. You have to finish your pitch. Of course, you can't start moving forward until you finish your pitch, and it's tricky. But I remember being out there, and as soon as you see somebody square that has speed like that, it's almost like you have to finish your pitch and run forward at the same time to have any chance of getting her out.
She is electric. And that's the second time in this game that we've seen her reach on a bunt. The first time, of course, was called back after it was determined that the ball touched her foot in the box. She ended up reaching in that at bat on a hit by pitch. But just so hard to defend, not only at the plate, but then on the base paths. 20 stolen bags, leads the SEC this year.
On this third time through the order, as you mentioned, is always going to be tough against any team that you face in college softball. Just a team getting a third look, a third at bat against you in this game. Remember, Sydney Lessentine pitched against this lineup just last night. It was a quick turnaround for her. She did get the start in game one, so they saw her then too. And part of her progressing has been to just not rely solely on her rise ball and her curve ball only, but to show something down with her changeup, to show something down with her drop ball so that she can stick around longer and deeper into games because she's giving these hitters different looks.
Upstairs, 2-2 count to Good.
And that's the pitch if you're Good. Look at that, get her dugout. You want that. We've seen Texas hitters chase that rise ball up and out of the zone, and Sydney Lessentine is used to seeing swings and misses on that pitch, but a great take by Good to work to this 2-2 count.
That was hit hard, but just right at the center fielder, Kelsey Mathis, first out of the inning.
And Reese Atwood is having such a great day today and really just kind of stealing the show back behind the plate and at the plate. And then last night it was Vivi Martinez, a different player for Texas, stepping up in a big way in last night's game, and Reese Atwood today.
Runner goes. In safely, Caden Henry with her 21st stolen base of the year. You mentioned Vivi Martinez's night last night, 4 for 4 with a pair of homers. Had not homered all year until last night. Riding an 8-game hit streak with 8 runs batted in over that stretch.
It's hard to believe that Texas was able to win a national championship and that their starting shortstop and Vivi Martinez was injured last year. They had to shuffle some position players around and fill that hole. And I mean, she not only is key for them defensively at shortstop, but it has historically been a great bat for them too.
Was a second-team All-American in 2024. So excited going into last year, so prepared. And then to tear her knee and spend the rest of the year on the sideline, it was crushing for Vivi Martinez. And she said multiple times that the journey last year was as much physical to rehab the injury, Amanda, as it was mental.
Yeah, it just takes a lot of hard work to get back. You know, she was still coming into this season not being at 100%, being close to that, but not 100% coming into the season. And you see here in this series, her home run power coming along.
First full count of the day for Sydney Lessentine, who for the most part has operated with great efficiency. And she punches out Martinez on the outside corner.
Big time strikeout with the night that Martinez had, and the way that she can produce RBIs with runners in scoring position. Paints the outside corner with that changeup. Gets the call maybe a little bit off the plate, but a major second out with the runner in scoring position to get Vivi to the bat on her shoulder.
Time called. Trisha Ford going to come out and chat with Lessentine with Reese Atwood due up in a runner in scoring position. Atwood has already driven in 2 runs today, including a solo bomb to put Texas in front the last time she came to the plate.
Yeah, and this could be a reminder now with first base open, maybe how they want to pitch Reese, but of course it's tough because you have Katie Stewart on deck, who leads the team in home runs and has arguably been the best hitter in the Texas lineup this season. But with first base open, and with the day that Reese Atwood has had today, seeing the ball well off of Lessentine with a couple of hits, that home run, you want to make sure that you're on the same page about how you're going to attack her. And I think one thing, too, as a reminder that Coach Ford gave Lessentine was, hey, she's been aggressive early in the count. Both of her hits in this game have come on the first strike that she's seen.
Has done a little bit of everything in today's game, showcasing why she is one of the stars of the sport. Batting .440 with 2 outs this year. The active career RBI leader in the country, program home run record holder. Down to the count 1-2.
It's a great curveball there to get that swing and a miss through a changeup. The pitch before, likely going to continue to work her way with that pull side home run power that we have not only seen in this game, but just all throughout her career. It's possible if you can try to sneak one, a rise ball up and in her hands, more out of the zone to then set back up outside, but we'll see what they do.
They do go outside, and Atwood doesn't chase.
If you throw her that changeup, it has to be lower in the zone, right at her knee. She hit a changeup earlier in the game that was left a little bit elevated. She's just such a good hitter. She punishes mistakes.
Goes down on the 2-2, and the 5th strikeout of the day keeps this a 1-run game. Sydney Lessentine pulling the string.
Well, I'll tell you what, Sydney Lessentine is fighting. The bats should get fired up with the way that Lessentine is fighting in the circle, striking out the home run hitter in Atwood.
on. Serve to deep left field. That one is gone. Sends one deep. Back it goes.
Big games on our air tomorrow. Oklahoma, who lost to LSU earlier today, 3-1. Tigers trying to take the series from the Sooners, whose offense has been among the best in the country, Amanda. And of course, A&M battling against #1 Texas today.
Yeah, these are the top 16 in the RPI right now, with Texas being 1. Nebraska having a heck of a year. Of course, Tennessee was ranked #1 last weekend, but Florida beat them, and Gainesville 2 of 3. There's a lot of SEC teams in that top 16.
Good first pitch swing by Michaela Wark, aboard for the 3rd time today, including back-to-back singles for the Oklahoma State transfer.
Beat the shift again for the 2nd time, this time on the ground. The last time that she beat the shift, it was one that was in the air, and her last at bat, and just out of the reach again of Leanne Good.
Texas A&M will get a pinch runner out here as Talon Edwards comes to the plate. Ansley Gross will pinch run for the Aggies. The tying run is aboard in the 6th. Still the lone loss this year for Texas to that very good Nebraska team.
Nebraska team, Matt, looks like they are on a mission. Playing UCLA this weekend in Lincoln, had a 4-1 win against the Bruins that have one of the best offenses in the country. Jordy Fromm got the save in that one.
It's the first win for Nebraska against UCLA since the 80s. To your point, it's a program on a mission.
Yeah, they can swing in, have a freshman named Alexis Jensen in the circle too. And you're starting to see that. I mentioned Jordy Fromm came in for the save, did not start that game against Nebraska, but you're starting to see that more in our game, that maybe sometimes a coach will save your ace to come in and close the game. Saw that with Carlin Pickens in Tennessee, especially early on in the season, that you want that. I call taking Kevon the hammer, but you want a Jordy Fromm hammer, a Carlin Pickens hammer to come in late in the game to close games if somebody else can give you a quality start through the first 4 or 5.
Were you considered a hammer in your days donning an Aggie
no
uniform?
Comment. You're funny.
We'll have to check the tapes. Upstairs, 3-1 count to Talon Edwards.
You know, you look at the scoreboard, A&M for the 2nd day in a row out hitting Texas. They did the same thing last night. They had 13 hits. Texas had 10, and they still suffered the loss. And right now out hitting them 7-4.
Edwards in the center, gliding back to make the play. Caden Henry one down. Well, the Women's March Madness tournament rolls on, both on ABC and the ESPN app. Hannah Hidalgo, Notre Dame against AZ Fudd and top-seeded UConn. Trying to win back-to-back national titles. Have won 53 consecutive games, and then Duke taking on UCLA. 3 Eastern on Sunday. Both games available on the app and ABC. Kelsey Mathis, starting center fielder, 2 for 2 today. Came into the year with the expectation to be their starting center fielder. But Trisha Ford told us did not play up to her potential, sort of lost that spot. Then the opportunity presented itself again for her to slot in center, and she has seized it, Amanda, and not looked back.
A&M trying to find some consistency back behind the plate, and because of that, Ariel Kowalewski, who started the year playing right field, slid in to catch and be the everyday catcher, and it opened up a spot in the outfield. And since Kowalewski became the everyday starter back behind the plate, Kelsey Mathis aligned with that to become the everyday starter in center field. And you see the numbers when she started offensively a little bit slow, but those numbers hitting over 400 since she got the starting spot. Her bat has been hot.
Mathis riding a 6-game hit streak. Reached on an infield single off Hannah Wells back in the 2nd inning. Has the tying run aboard here in the 6th. One, two, mile high, shallow center. Caden Henry comes down on one knee, staring into the sun to make the catch. 2 down.
And how I see this for Hannah Wells in Texas is this is an important inning to set up potentially the 7th inning and a win for them with what they're able to do. If they're able to secure an out here, to not have to face Maya Perez, Kowalewski, and Wark in the A&M order in the 7th inning with a chance to tie it. Right now, if she gets an out here, it'd be 8, 9, and 1 coming up, and Perez potentially wouldn't get an AB in the 7th inning with a chance to tie it. So this out going against KK Dement, trying to get a quick out here is important to set Texas up for a win in the 7th inning.
Longhorns have 15 run rule victories this year. However, they have been in a handful of tight games. 5-0, Amanda, in games decided by 2 runs or less, including last night's 9-8 walk-off winner against Texas A&M.
Well, and after some not close games against Baylor last weekend, they've been tested this week against Texas State in their midweek, which was a 1-run game, a come-from-behind win with Katie Stewart and Reese Atwood back-to-back home runs to win it, or go on to win it, and then being tested last night here, and another 1-run game that they find themselves in today on Saturday.
Meanwhile, on the other side, for an A&M team, as we've talked about, with so much turnover, they too, it feels like, have been so close so many times. 2-7 are the Aggies this year in games decided by 2 runs or less. What would a win today mean in similar situation, 1-run game to what we saw last night? What would it mean for Trisha Ford and the Aggies?
Well, and it feels like forever that they've had a runner in scoring position that they'll have now, but it's been difficult for them to string things together against Hannah Wells late in this game. In fact, the last time that they had a runner reach second base was back in the 3rd when they scored their last run.
They are just 1 for 3 today with runners in scoring position. Hannah Wells has done a phenomenal job. Freshman in the circle. Perhaps Mike White is going to make a change, and perhaps that change is Tegan Cavan coming out of the bullpen in left field. And a standing ovation for the freshman Hannah Wells. A sensational start in SEC play of her freshman year. Five and 2/3, 7 hits, 4 walks, 91 pitches, and for now, just the 2 earned runs for Hannah Wells. Tegan Cavan takes the rubber when we return. Well, Tegan Cavan was the most outstanding player of last year's Women's College World Series, and here she is with 2 on and 2 out in the 6th, Amanda. Texas A&M with a chance to tie or take the lead against the #1 team in the country. Cavan replacing the freshman Hannah Wells, and Maddie Sowney pinch hitting for the Aggies here in the 8th spot. Looks at ball 1.
Well, and she's just so different than what these hitters saw from Hannah Wells, who her ball was kind of floaty, changed speeds a ton, more down the zone with her drop ball. Now Cavan is going to come in with 69, 70 mile an hour rise ball, more up in the zone that these hitters are going to have to deal with the high heat like that.
71 from Cavan. Threw over 100 pitches last night in a 1-run victory for Texas. And is ahead in the count again with some heat. 1 and 2 to Sowney.
It did not look her sharpest to start the game, then came out for a few innings and then came in to finish it and looked more like herself, getting those swings and misses on her rise ball.
Sowney takes the 1-2 in the right. Good, backing up to make the catch. And Cavan closes the door on the Aggies in the 6th. Still a 1-run lead for the #1 team in the country. Been some eyebrow raisers this week. Ole Miss handing Tennessee a loss. Ole Miss Rebels' first SEC win of the year. First time beating Tennessee since 2008. Nebraska and Jordy Fromm, as we mentioned, victorious against UCLA for the first time since 1987. Nebraska top 3 in the RPI. Nyjah Kennedy receiving the first golden ticket for the 2026 AUSL draft upcoming. You will be there again this year.
Yeah, so the first golden ticket, more will be handed out in, I would assume, for the rest of March, but for sure in April, meaning that if you get that golden ticket, it means you are going to be drafted to play in the AUSL. You just don't know what team you're going to be on yet, and that draft will be in May on ESPN2.
Katie Stewart, savvy veteran, otherworldly season at the plate. Takes strike 1.
Now you think about what has been the difference in this game with A&M out hitting Texas, and it's been the defense. A&M has an error that led to a run, and with the way that Texas has played such strong defense with their just playing catch, really. Great throw, a pickoff from Reese Atwood to shut down a runner at third base early in this game. A couple of caught stealing, a ball off the wall in right field. I mean, Texas's defense has played so sharp to be able to shut down A&M's offense when they've been threatening in this game. So important for Lessington and this A&M defense, speaking of, to keep the score where it's at right now with the one-run game to go into the 7th, only down by 1 run.
Three-1 from Lessington. Good strike 2. Defense, ironically, has not been the strength for Texas this year, yet it has shined today in a one-run game. A&M, on the other hand, has left a little bit to be desired on that side of things, not only today, but yesterday as well. And that is a strikeout, according to Robbie Guest, her home plate umpire. 3rd in a row for Lessington, her 6th of the day, and it sends Stewart back to the dugout.
Yeah, and all 3 of those in a row have been on her changeup, getting Katie Stewart just in between here with a check swing, and Lessington is going to get the call. Check swing that to me could have gone either way. Looked like, when I saw it live, that she held back, but that changeup in the dirt, dropped 3rd strike for the first out of the inning.
1 gone, and the base is clear for the freshman Hannah Wells, who just turned the ball over in the circle to Tegan Cavan. Went 5 2/3, allowing just 2 earned runs this afternoon.
You know, we've seen so many two-way players this year, it seems like. Hannah Wells, of course, a two-way. She's started the game in the circle. She's going to be in that everyday offensive lineup for Texas too. And Jordy Fromm, who we talked about for Nebraska, also falls under that category, which is monster offensive and pitching numbers. And I mean, Caitlin Terry at Texas Tech. We talk a lot about Nyjah Kennedy, who got that golden ticket, but Terry at Tech has been phenomenal offensively and a great addition to their pitching staff that makes Texas Tech even tougher to beat.
Texas, of course, beating Texas Tech in 3 games in the Women's College World Series Championship last year. Hannah Wells, a great addition to Texas, former Gatorade Player of the Year last year, nationally. Today was just her 3rd career SEC start, and just the 2nd in which she went more than 4 innings. 3-1. Into the gap in right center, down for a base hit. Hannah Wells is aboard for the first time today.
It's a changeup that Hannah Wells decides to go ahead and swing at in that hitter's count. Sits on it, takes it the opposite way, and finds some grass to get somebody on for Texas, trying to get some insurance runs late in this game.
Mike White out to make a change, potentially a pinch runner here for Hannah Wells. And indeed, Texas will pinch run and bring in Taylor Anderson.
Attention please, pinch runner for Texas, number 27, Taylor Anderson. And pitching for Texas, number 5, K.D. Bennett.
And K.D. Bennett will come in to pitch hit for the Arizona transfer Kaya Altmaier. Infield drawn in. And a ball upstairs to Bennett. Bennett, the 2nd-year transfer from Abilene Christian. Began at Texas A&M Commerce, where she was the only freshman to make first-team all-conference. Spent a season at Abilene Christian, where she was all-WAC first team. Really wanted an opportunity to play at the highest level of college softball. Last year was used off the bench to pinch run, pinch hit. And a big opportunity here in her 2nd and final season at Texas with some insurance at first base.
When Lessington has needed a strike, she is not scared to go to that changeup multiple times. Done a good job of locating that pitch right at the knees to get back into this count. So that changeup is a big reason that she has thrown going into 6 innings in this game and gone deep into her start.
100th pitch of the day for Lessentine. Runner goes. Throw down is in time. Great tag by Talon Edwards. And that's the second out of the inning. Ariel Kowalewski says, I see you, Reese Atwood. Here's my arm behind the plate.
It's a big out, too, with a 1-run game headed into the 7th inning. Texas wanting to move that runner into scoring position for an insurance run, and Kowalewski showing up to make that throw in the out. An important second out here.
And now a chance to get out of the inning for Lessentine. Just misses, and a walk drawn by Bennett to extend the 6th. Well, we talked about it. Big rivalries going on across the street here in Austin on a different diamond. Number 8 Oklahoma, number 2 Texas on the baseball field. Finish up their big 3-game series today. Coverage begins at 5 Eastern on the SEC Network.
I don't know if the schedule makers really thought this one through. With both fields being so close together, the 2 Texas rivals showing up on the softball diamond and the baseball diamond, and with how limited parking is in Austin around these parts, it is a tough one.
They've been tailgating game 3 of that baseball series since we showed up this morning at 11 a.m. for first pitch here. Another pinch hitter, Lawson, will dig in the 8th spot for J.C. Nichols. With Bennett at first and an 0-1 count.
And Coach White really is showing the depth of his roster here with a couple of pinch runners and pinch hitters in this inning, kind of getting everybody in. And it's moments like this with Bennett, her pinch hit opportunity, and Lawson here as a freshman, just trying to see who he can rely on late in games when it's a tight game and SEC play and the moment is big. I mean, they have so much depth in their offense with those veteran players. It's tough to crack into that starting offensive lineup, but somebody like Lawson, who was such a great high school player and highly recruited, big opportunity here late in this game.
Chopper to second, Edwards slings to first, and that ends the inning. So it's a 1-run game. Texas A&M will bring Vrajel, Powell, and Maya Perez to the plate. Welcome back to the Lone Star Showdown. It's a 1-run game as we enter the 7th. Texas A&M trying to hand the Longhorns their first loss since February 7th in the midst of their longest win streak in program history and the longest streak going in the nation. And no surprise, Amanda Scarborough, another 1-run game in this classic rivalry.
They're always so tight. It really doesn't matter what your RPI is, what your ranking is, what your record is. It just seems like it always comes down to the final inning in this matchup.
Tegan Cavan back out for her second inning of relief. Got the final out of the 6th. Takes on Frankie Vrajel. Cavan started game 1 last night. Was relieved and then came back in and closed the door on the Aggies with 2 scoreless innings in the 6th and the 7th.
You see Reese Atwood working hard to get that outside pitch a called strike. The first one missed a little bit. Reese Atwood looked back, talked to the umpire. Hey, where did that miss? Because Tegan Cavan, especially against these lefties, wants to see how far out she can get with movement that not only moves a little bit up, but a little bit away from these left-handed hitters.
Vrajel has twice reached, including a single back in the 5th, trying to set the table as A&M will turn the lineup over to Kennedy Powell and then the great Maya Perez, one of the elite power hitters in the nation. 2-1 chop to third. Nichols makes the throw, and the stretch is good from Stewart, 1 away. What's your approach if you're A&M against Tegan Cavan? Second time that you've seen her in as many days.
Yeah, it's important to make her throw strikes, kind of like the patience that Vrajel showed early in her at bat to see, can Cavan find the corner a ball on versus swinging at the pitch a ball off to give yourself a better chance or probability to barrel up one against her.
You know Maya Perez would love the opportunity to barrel one up with a runner aboard and potentially give A&M a lead in the 7th against Tegan Cavan and #1 Texas. Looming in the on-deck circle. 0-1 almost caught a piece of Powell, who has been so good at the top of this A&M order, a true triple threat this year at the plate. (0-2 from Cavan. Powell in the left, 2 gone. Two years ago, 2024 Super Regional, Amanda Scarborough was on the call. Maya Perez with one of the swings to put Texas A&M in front and etch her name in the history books of this storied Aggies program.
That was a 3-run home run in game 2 of that Super Regional. Bottom of the 7th, a 2-2 pitch actually tied the game to push it to extras. And that swing was so big in that Super Regional because A&M won game 1 of the Super, had a chance to win game 2, pushed it into extras as Texas had led late in the game because of the Maya Perez pinch hit home run that really kind of brought her name out into the national landscape that so many people refer to. Her swing, that moment, this field happened just a couple years ago.
And now a deep breath from the veteran power hitter who's gone from pinch hitter to primary hitter for this A&M team. Takes a strike. (0-2 to Perez. One of the things we were curious to see, how would Texas pitch Perez? So many have pitched around her this year. Not Tegan Cavan. Went right after her last night in game 1. Has an 0-2 count in game 2. A chance to win it. And Cavan does with a strikeout. And Texas extends their national leading win streak to 29 games.
Texas did everything that they needed to do to win this game. They came out and answered when A&M got on the board first again in the top of the first inning. They scored 2 and just kept the lead, or at least it was tied, and then Reese Atwood hit that home run to give them the lead, and they got to play from ahead, bring in their ace. Hannah Wells, the freshman, gave them a deep, great start, but the hammer, as we mentioned, Tegan Cavan coming in to pitch late in this game to throw that 70-mile-an-hour rise ball up at the eyes of these hitters to get the save and finish out this win, and a series win for Texas in the Lone Star Showdown.
They remain undefeated in league play, and with the series victory, hoisting the Lone Star Showdown trophy. Another one-run game, the 10th in the last 11 meetings between these rivals on this field. Good news, we get it again tomorrow at 2 Eastern on ESPN. For Amanda Scarborough, our entire ESPN crew, Matt Schumacher saying good afternoon from Austin. Longhorns are 31-1.